Okay. Now, we've already covered, Nasser's response to the talk of which... Oh, and by the way, on that previous video that I did, JDA did a video. It's probably worth checking out, talking about, I think, the pros and cons of the different platforms. I think he kind of sidestepped the controversy aspect, which we will not be doing. We will be tackling that right now. But we've already covered the, Nasser's post in response to this, and the responses to that and whatnot. So anyway, here we go. This is from a mail-in stream.
I'm just saying, for 3 years, for better or worse, Kickstarter has been kind of ingrained into what we stand against. That's just it. That's the one spot where we said that, we're gonna take a stand, and this place is a piece of shit. Again, do what you want, to go wherever you want. I'm not gonna be outraged by it. I find it annoying that, again, the same system that was built that helped Clint benefit is something that he's willing to take down, or
he's
be
not
a
willing
part
to take
of.
it down. He's taking it for granted. He's assuming he's already got this. Now there's something else out there that he could add to this. And I would say that, part of the reason why, Clint Stoker is funded and enjoys success is because he has branded himself ComicsGate. He's loyal to this little club, this little thing of ours.
Tony.
And, he's a member here. And because he follows the rules, because he shows respect to the things that we believe in and the customers believe in. And one of those things is to stand inside.
It's moments like this that make... God damn it, I hate that. It's moments like this from EVS that make one wonder if he has an unhealthy obsession with Mafia TV shows and films, and really likes to pretend that that's who he is.
Solidarity against Kickstarter, who at the very founding of the thing that we've built here, pissed all over two of our very prominent members, two very influential members of ComicsGate, caused all kinds of trouble. Yeah, I think that, it's not about money, okay? Just take money out of it, take all this, maybe there's more money at Kickstarter. It's about people who, it's about an organization that maliciously, gatekept and defamed John Malin and your boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer. People will appreciate it. And I say those words with thunder behind them. People will appreciate it. If you stand by your friends in ComicsGate by not giving the organization that did that to John Malin and your boy Zach 7.5% of your earnings. Okay? Clint, give it to the church instead. They'll take your 10%. Okay? Just, you do not need to be giving Kickstarter. You do not need to be paying tithing to Kickstarter. They are not worth your time. They're not. And, to compare them to other woke companies, lots of companies need to feign wokeness. Don't you be one of them, too. You just...
It does suck, by the way, that Kickstarter apparently takes a significantly greater percentage than Indiegogo does. I believe he said 7.5 for Kickstarter, and I believe it's 5 for Indiegogo. So that's also something to consider, is how much the platform is taking your, is taking you for. What cut are they getting? So also one more thing to consider. On Kickstarter, everybody, there's always a survey. Now, a number of campaigns, all it is just the Kickstarter survey, which may be as simple as, what's your email address, or do you want your shit signed or not, or something. I don't know. And some of it's not even like there's just like like, was there anything you wanted to add? Did you and I don't mean add on. There was just, is there anything you want us to know? And that's it, because it's like they've already collected all the information they need from you. So that it's just a formality basically to complete the survey. But there's backer kit or whatever, there are third-party survey sites that are often used, and you have to pay for those services, but a lot of people use them so that people can add shit on that they might not have had a chance to get during the campaign or whatever. And and also they'll use, these third parties will also potentially be used the way that Indiegogo allows you to be in demand and just have a store essentially where you can keep selling stuff through. On Kickstarter you have to do that through like BackerKit or something, and your campaign's closed and the Kickstarter part of it's done, but there'll be a link up there. Oh, you can go and pre-order it here, and so you click on that and it goes to BackerKit or someplace. So I don't know. It's a difference. It's a difference. There, as I said, there are definite advantages. There are a few advantages to Kickstarter. There are, some advantages, perhaps more in some respects, on Indiegogo. But anyway,
it's listed a bunch of companies that pretend to be woke, pretend to share values with degenerates.
And okay, he the whole pretending to share values. It's like the virtue signaling bullshit. Is like Indiegogo does that too. So let's not fucking pretend like they're, like I said, don't pretend they're based. They're not. They're not at all. They may not be quite as horrible as Kickstarter, but they're still a bunch of leftist shitbags. And what was that bitch's name? I don't know. There was somebody. They're talking about gatekeeping, and it's like there was some bitch that worked for Kickstarter who was specifically being a problem, and she's gone. So a major part of why Kickstarter was being an asswipe to early CG projects or whatever is no longer in the picture.
And weirdos.
That doesn't mean that they wouldn't still be, a problem. I'm just saying that, a known bad actor, gone. So maybe it wouldn't be so bad now.
Scumbags. You just listed them as if that was an excuse. Don't you become one of them too. Don't let Downcast. What's his company called? It's not Downcast. His book's called Downcast. Shit, it's like that.
Is it Sweet? No, Sweetcast?
No, Sweetcast, but what's his publishing company called?
I don't know.
Okay.
Simon Schuster.
Yeah. Don't let Sweetcast become frauds. Don't let them become phonies. Don't let them pay honor to these organizations.
People are saying Sweet Comics is the name of it.
Is it Sweet Comics? Okay. Don't do it. That's all I would say. And you can, again, when I say do it if you want to, I'm saying it like this. Do it if you want to. And I would say that pretty much with anybody who wants to make that choice, who's already enjoyed the good graces of ComicsGate. Do it if you want to. Now, other people, like I said, my friends, Billy Tucci was already funding on Kickstarter. He wants to come over here. Billy Tucci's a friend and all that stuff. That's fine. But people who we met through ComicsGate and stuff like that, who I've known you for a couple of years. If you're not with the club, if you're not going to kind of honor what we built and the things that we kind of believe in, more power to you, as John Mailman has said 60 times.
Yeah, just do it at your own risk. That's what I said before, guys. I took a risk. The risk worked out for me. I knew that by working with your boy that I was going to potentially sacrifice friends, peers, opportunities, all those things. And I greatly benefited from taking my risk. And everyone else, fine, go out there and do whatever you want, but understand the risk you take may be alienating part of your audience base. It may mean the next generation of ComicsGate creators may not have the same ability to grow like you did because the unity may become very much dissolved. But yeah, do it at your own risk and understand no one's coming after you brutally. I'm just saying in terms, and again, I don't know if Clint's even been on ComicsGate Presents.
He hasn't. I mean, Clint's doing his own thing. Very much he's doing his own thing. He hasn't been on my show in ages, but I still promote his stuff. I promoted Downcast 3 quite a bit. It's just people forget and they need to be reminded. You just forget, wait a second, why are we not using this platform again? Mm-hmm. And it's almost like we need to just go back and say,
to be fair, there's no way for me to know for sure what Ethan's motives are. And so he says they need to be reminded of why we don't use this platform. Maybe. But you have to admit, it kind of sounds like somebody saying they have to be reminded that it's not up to them. that I make these decisions for them. I'm in charge here. It kind of sounds that way. Now, is that really how he means it? Don't know. There's no way to know. There's no way to know for sure. You can suspect the worst from Ethan if you're so inclined, or you can expect or hope for the best from him.
This is what they did before, but beyond that, it's like you're going to find something out. You're going to discover something. You're going to discover that when you put yourself in front of enemy fire, they're going to shoot at you. They're waiting to do that. You enjoy some protection by kind of following some rules around here and following and stepping in other people's footprints. But I'll tell you, they're just looking for it. They're looking for a way to kind of, pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah. All right, let's finish this up here.
Insights on it, my background. What does this mean, Clint? Nobody.
All right, that's, I believe, essentially all that they really had to say, or at least all that's particularly relevant. Hey, Clint. It'd be a tragedy if all your support in CG suddenly disappeared like Micah's and Liam's. But you do what you think is best for your family. And then the picture from The Godfather there. It's very apparent that Ethan and Malin are invested in making sure no prominent CG projects cross-promote on Kickstarter. This is the video Clint did that prompted Malin and Frog's thinly veiled advice.
Hello, everybody. I'm Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. I want to talk about Kickstarter.
Speed.
And the reason why I want to talk about it is because I've seen a lot of discussion over the past, I will say 6 weeks, about using Kickstarter in addition to Indiegogo. So traditionally, we'll kind of set this up for you, Kickstarter is known to be a woke company. How is that different from any other company? Frankly, it's not. Indiegogo is actually, at least forward-facing, a woke company. As you can see, in Pride Month, they did a lot of virtue signaling. Again, how is that any different from Skittles or any other company? Virtually any company that you can see trying to virtue signal. So what makes Kickstarter a particular woke evil when it comes to companies? Well, part of it was this person, Camilla Zong. I'm going to say her name wrong. She posted this on Twitter fairly recently in July 21st.
That's her name.
Said, I may be too outspoken for my own.
That's her name. God damn it. Fucking, I hate this. Off-site YouTube videos bring up that fucking pop-up bullshit. But anyway, yes, that's her name, Camilla Zong or whatever. It's like, yes, this is the I mean, is she the only problematic employee they had? Almost certainly not. But was she a major problem? From the sound of it, yes. So the fact that she's not there anymore, should make a difference.
That right there is a sentence that sums up what her career has been like over the past year to 2 years. And that is when people have had power, like Camilla, they abuse that power and make ideology the most important thing. When they hear woke companies say that they're woke, whatever their values are, they take it to its logical conclusion or its logical extreme and kick people, ban people, whatever they can do to get people off the platform that they don't see fit to go there. Since that time, Camilla has been fired from Kickstarter. And Camilla has gone through several different job iterations surrounding crowdfunding comic books to bring her to this state where she makes the statement, I may be too outspoken for my own good. That's important. Now, what I never heard from Kickstarter was an apology of, an expression of, we feel bad that we, kept people off of our platform for really silly political reasons when their books had no politics or interest in them. Didn't make any sense. We apologize. They didn't do that. And in fact, no company today will do that whatsoever.
Nope.
So, the strange thing is the world that we live in now is a world of self-isolation. This is what scares me. Again, I've been really happy with Indiegogo, but I do think that there are people on Kickstarter, probably the majority of people, that don't care about Kickstarter's politics. To them, they're just another woke company. They might be on Kickstarter, browsing through campaigns. They might be backing comic book Kickstarters.
There is one thing to really quickly point out here about like CG isolating themselves on Indiegogo. Probably everything's going to be fine. So I'm not suggesting that this is likely, but keep in mind, if you're isolated on just one platform and then somebody buys that platform, let's say that, I don't know who, but let's say that some woke-ass leftard decides to, billionaire or company or whatever decides to buy out Indiegogo. They could deplatform all of CG in a single day. Just be like, oh, you're not welcome here anymore. Bye-bye. And then you're fucked. You're gone. So, not only does it kind of make sense to maybe exist on both the big platforms, but also probably to explore any third platform that exists or arises, just a thought. being all in one place means that you make one big tempting target, and you can all be taken out at one go. So,
and they might even be interested in backing my books or your books. Okay? And they might not care, or they might even genuinely hate the wokeness. The chances are pretty high because many people do hate it, but they just tolerate it or ignore it because it's virtually everywhere. So the thing that scares me is self-isolation or a set of rules saying that you shall now boycott Kickstarter forever because of the actions of Camilla Zong and her company at the time. The reason why that's scary is because, I'll take us back a couple years here, when I made the announcement that I was going to be published with Alternative Comics, I had several people who were very upset with me. Most people were really happy and supportive. Several people were not happy about it because they thought it signaled that, I don't know, I was quote-unquote leaving, which is the strangest thing in the world to me. It made no sense. And then I found out some people, their problem was the direct market, and having comics go to the direct market, that was somehow no-no, and so on and so on. So when I think about this, SJWs can do a certain amount of damage to you, and that is by keeping you off platforms in some cases. But how much damage is it possible to do to yourself?
Another interesting thing, I suppose, it's like Alterna and Peter Smetty or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, he's welcome in CG, but CG creators that go to do business with him, maybe they're not quite so welcome. I don't know. It's weird.
If you refuse to use any of these platforms, if you refuse to actually compete with these SJW books, would we know there are people there that are also sick of the same stuff? They're just not quite that plugged into the internet. They've got lives to live. The same thing comes up with Twitter. I start thinking about Twitter. Twitter's one of the most woke companies I can think of. They're known for kicking people off for saying the wrong things. They will control what is hate speech and what is not hate speech. Twitter's a terrible, awful platform, and they desperately try to be as woke as possible. They kicked the president off of their platform for crying out loud. Do you see where I'm going here? Is using Twitter, the question is, why is using Twitter okay, but using Kickstarter is not okay? What's the difference? How about Patreon? That's another company that's also very woke and has kicked people off. I'm thinking of, in particular, Sargon of Akkad. There are many others as well that were considered hateful people, therefore Patreon kicked them off. Should you be using Patreon? Okay, so I could go down a list of companies, and the question is, at what point are you isolating yourself from customers that don't care about politics, they just want good comic books, they don't know where to find them? How do I as a creator find those people? Now, before anybody gets upset, I think Indiegogo at the moment is still a place that makes me happy. I like launching my books on Indiegogo. I have toyed with the idea and thought about it as posting a campaign, for example, like a reprint of Downcast on Kickstarter, and doing absolutely zero promotion, sending no backers to them, but just leave it out there like a fishing hook to see who I can find. And if I add 30, 50, 100 people to my mailing list that back my books there, then I can then promote to them and send them to Indiegogo, or for whatever reason they want to use Kickstarter. I guess that's fine, right? That's fine. So I've toyed around with that as well. I fear that if I ever did that, people would be so upset because it has become a social faux pas, rather than a logical step for growing a successful comic book community or comic book business or publisher or anything. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me as a whole. So what I'd love to see is for Kickstarter to show some kind of a commitment to being ideologically neutral, and or allow for people that launch campaigns on Kickstarter to be ideologically diverse. If they showed a commitment to that, that would make me a lot happier. I don't think they're ever going to do that, just like I don't think Indiegogo is ever going to make some kind of a statement that support my personal politics. I don't actually expect companies to do that. That's actually what SJWs do, which hence the virtue signaling. So it's an interesting place in time, and I'd like to see where things go. I'll be honest, for me, my big goals are to get my book out to as many people as possible, and I want to be competing with the comic books that everybody says that they hate. In order to do that, I'm absolutely going to have to get wider distribution, and I'm not talking about Kickstarter at all. I'm just talking about getting books out to people, bookstores, like wherever books are sold. Amazon. I know that you have a lot of problems with Amazon as well, but again, Amazon versus eBay, these are all just platforms or places where people buy books, and there are a lot of normal people, good people everywhere, all over the internet that want to buy those books, but I want to make that, and I think I have a responsibility to make that as easy for them as possible. So you can see I'm a little torn on this issue, but I wanted to sort of give my...
And likewise, there is no alternative to Amazon or eBay or anything like that that isn't a woke piece of shit leftist-run company. None. There's no such thing as a right-wing version of Amazon, as far as I'm aware.
My insights on it, my background. What does this mean, Clint? Nobody freak out. Literally nothing is changing. I'm just thinking about what all of this means. So I'd love to know your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. If you think I'm onto something, let me know. Or if you've thought of something completely different, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And I'll see you in the next video.
Apparently, this is about loyalty. At Frog, why is it cool for you to make hundreds of thousands off your relationship with censor-happy, woke-as-fuck YouTube, but Clint would be terribly disloyal if he made a little extra cash with the company that refused Zach's business? Who sucks up to Brian Vaginio? I don't know. The main stream, and won't even call himself CG anymore. Yeah, he has, kind of abandoned the community movement, whatever, and has started engaging in the kind of abuse of customers that he used to complain about, and yet he still has a shit ton of people that act like you know, he's... Why the fuck kind of recommendations are that? As far as I know, I've not watched anything about either one of those subjects. Seems to me that Zach's the one who isn't loyal lately. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, you know, you gotta wonder how long is that is Zach's support going to last? You know, it is really weird that he still has the amount that he has. Meanwhile, Clint isn't allowed the potential growth that guys like Tim Lim have seen from doing Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns. The double standard makes no sense to me. Please explain. And does Clint get the same Indiegogo privileges to run multiple campaigns simultaneously that you do? It almost seems like Clint is addressing this very issue in this video.
Hey everyone, it's Clint. I'm going to make a very quick video showing off my guitar. It's not about the guitar, but we're going to show it off. And for Eric Weathers, I have a strap with comic lettering, so there we go. So cash flow in comics. This is the #1 reason why independent creators remain part-time, or can't stay full-time, or they can't continue making comics, essentially. Their career is stunted. It's cash flow. So there's a few ways to get cash flow. One would be to sell a new book multiple times a year. This is the route that a lot of comic book creators have taken. They do multiple campaigns with different products, and it is very difficult, and I would argue impossible, to actually ship out and fulfill each of those campaigns quickly enough to have each of them complete by the time you do the next one. It's very difficult. If I could do that, it would make a lot of sense. If you could do that, that's Brian Plato's model, essentially. He's got teams of people working for him, and it works for him, so that's one. Two would be to have such a big campaign that you're making tons and tons of money all in one shot. And if you're able to do that, then you don't have to worry about it. You're set for a year or more, however long it takes to produce this award-winning, high-earning book, and you're set to go. Option number 3 is reselling the same book that you have already created to different groups of people. So that is like, I'm releasing Downcast on Indiegogo, first and foremost. Later it gets broken up into single issues and is sold through Alterna. So I'm selling the same story we've already done the production. It goes to a different audience. Is there some overlap? Yes, I will never know exactly how much overlap, but you got a new format, you're selling it to new people. This is also the model that mainstream comics use to sell to more people. So in exploring how to achieve any 3 of those routes to success, you will, find ways to make it work, essentially. So always think about this kind of stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which method do you think is the best? Either producing a lot of books throughout the year to the same audience, producing one big book that earns enough money, that would be the fantasy, I think, of most people, or selling the same book to different audiences throughout the year. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.
The fuck? U.S. soldier defected to North Korea? What a fucking moron you'd have to be to do that. Let's all hope Clint's comics dreams don't have an unfortunate accident. Yeah, I mean, it does. I don't know. I mean, I mean, just the Mafia imagery. I mean, it's used explicitly by EVS himself. It's like, yeah, you sound like you're pretending to be a mob boss and telling people that, yeah, they can't get away with doing whatever they want. They have to do it your way. You know, you're making it sound like that. Not. Let's check real quick and see if they do anything else.
Nobody freak out. Literally nothing is changing. I'm just thinking about what all of this means. So I'd love to know your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. If you think I'm onto something, let me know. Or if you've thought of something completely different, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, understand. People in the chat are like, and just like that, Clint is canceled. No, he isn't. Not at all. He's ComicsGate. He's speculating about and asking questions about why. I hope he hears this, and I hope he understands. There is ComicsGate.
You're still ComicsGate right now, but you won't be if you make any mistakes.
Stands for something other than just making money.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, it's part of a protest. It's born in fire. It's born from.
Once again, why is Anna even there? She doesn't say anything. She's not on camera to be eye candy. Oh my God. I mean, even if you're just like, well, she's their friend. It's like, okay, but even if you have, a member of your circle of friends, if they don't seem to want to be, kind of seen with you. I mean, yeah, Cecil's off camera right now too, but he's usually on, so it's like this is kind of like a friend having a friend who doesn't really want to be seen in public with you, like wants to kind of like, your friends are sitting at one table and you choose to sit at a separate table so that you can kind of pretend that you're not really with them if anybody says anything. And you don't really talk to them. Maybe occasionally you lean over and voice your opinion on something, but mostly you just keep to yourself. You're drinking your drink and they're talking amongst themselves mostly and occasionally addressing you. It's like, it's like, how long would you continue to hang out with this person if that's how they were, it's just, I don't know.
Comic book critics, and there's an argument to be made, and that's the whole point of ComicsGate. From its very beginnings is, hey, there's something going on. We want to have that addressed as, again, part of a protest. And hey, they're not going to change the way that they're making comics. They're not listening. So now we're going to make the books. We're going to show that there's a market for the very type of entertainment that we're saying that there is. So again,
stop paying people who hate you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many, like you say that a million different ways and people don't understand. Stop giving money to people who hate you. Kickstarter hates you.
That makes perfect sense, but as people have pointed out, Indiegogo may not voice their hatred for you. There may not even be that many people there who, like, truly hate you as a person, but they all hate your politics. Don't make the mistake of thinking that Indiegogo is not full of a bunch of woke leftists, because it is. All of these companies are. And yeah, it would be a smart move for everyone who is even slightly right of center, or at this point even anybody who's centrists, who's a centrist in the country, to avoid doing business with leftists, with the woke SJW crowd. But nobody's doing that. You're not doing it by avoiding Kickstarter but being on Indiegogo. They're both run by woke leftists. If you do business with eBay, which Ethan does, woke leftists. Amazon, woke leftists. Virtually any fucking company you can name. I mean, what? Maybe, there's a handful, I guess. I'm not even sure which ones. You have some that pretend, and then it comes out that, nah, they're shitbags too, like Black Rifle Coffee. And then, I don't know. As far as companies go, I'm not aware of any aside from, I guess, Gab, that are actually based. It's like, no, all the companies are woke. They're all woke garbage. And, it's just a little bit ridiculous to pretend like, well, by avoiding certain people who hate us, certain people who are working, against, against everything that we value, that makes us the good guys. But but you're still working with people who hate your values and are working to undermine them. You're still giving them money, maybe not as much, but you're still doing it. Anyway, like I said, just a considerable amount of hypocrisy, or at the very least, lack of awareness that seems to be going on here.
They made it clear.
Yeah. Real quick, guys, be sure to sign up for Godlike.
All right. So I'm going to assume that that's probably about it. Anyway, like I said, there are no good options. I don't know where everything is going politically. It could be that you're going to, I just saw people talking about how the Republicans control all the state house, or not all, but enough of the state houses that they're going to be able to gerrymander districts to the point where they'll probably take back the House. And, if they can, take back everything essentially in 2024, then you know, well, it's down to whether or not there are enough real right-wingers in there versus just a bunch of rhinos, neocons or whatever, as to whether or not the country, you know, might have some chance of continuing. But I have for some time now been considering that we're probably doomed. As far, well, the United States as a singular political entity is probably not long for this world. That doesn't mean that, you know, all of the people are doomed. It just means that the political entity is probably doomed. I rather suspect that. I don't know that, but I suspect it. I suspect the breakup of the United States to begin within 5 years, probably. Now, if it doesn't, if things don't devolve into utter chaos, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I don't know. At this point, I'm starting to think that, I don't know, maybe it would be better for me to spend all of my money on food and toilet paper and ammo. Because, you know, probably we're headed for a fucking collapse. Probably everything is about to go completely to shit. Which will make all of the talking about buying funny books on one platform or a different platform kind of a moot point. Anyway. But I would have to say that, honestly, it doesn't feel like, I mean, watching this a second or third time, you know, doesn't, you know, it doesn't seem as bad after you've seen, you know, but the first time that you see this, it sure as shit sounds like, wow, you know, Ethan really likes to pretend to be a fucking mob boss or something, doesn't he? He's really kind of telling Clint, you know, be careful what you do. You know, be careful there, Clint. You're walking a fine line. Make the wrong move and I'll destroy you. You know, I don't know that that's what he's thinking, but on the first viewing of this fucking video, that's kind of what it sounded like. You know, like I said, watching again, it's like, doesn't seem so bad the second time, but it still does sound, like I said, if, you know, if there's not it like I said, it sounds like there's not a sufficient recognition on the part of Ethan and company that just because they're, you know, it's like, yeah, we, you know, it's like, okay, Kickstarter maybe is more of a problem than Indiegogo. They're more woke. They're further left, maybe. But, you know, but you're not, you seem to be acting like the platform you're on is perfectly fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. You know, and sorry, but that's not true. There's something wrong with virtually all of the platforms. You know, whether it's crowdfunding or social media or whatever. It's like all of them are run by leftists. So, I don't know. I mean, you know, of course, I guess the different thing is was it mentioned it? Is it mentioned here someplace? Where is it? But it's, you know, it's like there's an axe to grind there. It's not about the politics, and it's not really about the, you know, anything else. It's about Kickstarter was, you know, they took it personally that Kickstarter is against certain members of the CG group, and therefore they all decided, no, you know, fuck Kickstarter, fuck them forevermore, and we'll use Indiegogo because they didn't treat us like that. It's like, oh, fair enough. I guess. But at the same time, it's like you're doing that based on, oh, they were mean to Zach, they were mean to John Malin. But were they mean to Clint Stoker, and would they be? It's like, maybe not. I don't know. Obviously I'm not, at least not currently, a creator of any kind. A creator of YouTube videos, but not a creator of comics or books or whatever. But this is a good reason not to be part of some group that could suddenly decide that, oh, you're not part of our group now, and we're removing all of our support. Probably best not to get involved with that. It's it's like the gang doesn't like it when you try to leave. So if you decide to join up, you got to stay. But it's probably easier and, well, maybe not easier. It's like you get advantages to joining a group, to joining a clique, but there are such big downsides if you ever want to leave. So it's probably better to be like Billy Tucci and to never really truly be part of the clique. I mean, admittedly, he's a big time pro or whatever, but nevertheless, it's better to be in his position where it's like, yeah, this clique over here will play with me just fine because they like me, and I'm nice to them and they're nice to me and everything's fine. But I'm not part of their clique, and therefore I don't have to listen to anything that they say. It's like, if I don't want to, I can just be like, okay, you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. It's a better position to be in, ultimately. Anyway, so there's that. Let me know how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mafioso, whatever, do you think that Ethan and Malin are being here? Until the next one.